Hello and welcome to Property Mastermind Podcast, episode 81. Sorry, Property Mastermind Podcast with Bob and Hillary, episode 81. Today, more inspiration for you. We did an episode a couple of weeks back, inspiring stories, and we are doing some more because it's nearly the end of the year and we want you to get excited and think, yes, I'm going to get off the fence and I'm going to jump in and do property development with these guys because they have people doing amazing things. So let's jump into episode 81. Hello, welcome to episode 81. And here's Bob, here's Hillary. How are you, Bob?
Pretty well. How are you going?
Why did you look down? Seeing what I'm wearing underneath because we're podcasting?
No.
Well, after this, to tell the truth, I'm off to the gym and I've...
that explains the gym outfit.
Underneath. The gym tights underneath, ready to go.
You'll be straight out of the blocks at the end of this podcast.
I will be.
Yeah.
I've got an 8 o'clock session with my PT.
Okay.
Alrighty. So
exciting.
It is exciting. What's exciting is that we're heading into 2023.
Yep.
And this will be the last episode for 2022. And we hope to inspire people listening to jump in and join us.
Yep.
And if you are, a lot of people already have and they still listen to the podcast, we invite you to think, how good's next year going to be?
I'm looking forward to 2023.
Because?
I just think it's going to be a good year. I think it's a lot of things settling down.
Yeah.
We've got some good plans ourselves. Looking forward to rolling them out. Yeah, no. I always look forward to a new year. It's a bit weird. Everything seems to be built around the 1st of January. We sort of plan stuff. But anyway, be that as it may. Yeah, 2023. And inspired, you're talking about inspiration from our students. We get inspired as well, don't we? I get inspired by what they do.
When you see that where people start and where they end up, that's very amazing. Not pretty. It is amazing. It's the personal growth, that personal development, that growth.
Yeah.
That not just the knowledge, not just the property development knowledge. And I know they've got a massive fallback to you, Bob. They can always reach out and get an answer they need and have you support them. But that's that internal growth that we see people go through, and the happiness, the joy.
And it has to come from them. It has to be their effort.
It does.
We can guide them, give them advice, but at the end of the day, if they're successful, it's because they deserve to be and they're doing things right.
They've invested in themselves, Bob, and I do believe, not even I think, I do believe that once you invest in yourself, you invest financially in yourself, you invest the time in yourself, then a lot of the time people will invest time, but they won't do that last bit. And when once people come to us and they do that the successes are amazing.
Yeah, it's the commitment.
And some people,
Consistency.
and it can be a bit of a roller coaster for them.
Oh yeah. We're not here to say, property development's the easiest thing in the world. It's the easiest way you'll ever make money. Nothing will ever go wrong. Of course it will, and you've got to deal with it, and that'll test you sometimes as to your resolve and what you're made of.
And I think what we tend to do is what feels like a catastrophe one day obviously turns into not such a catastrophe within 7 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, things can change pretty fast.
They can.
Yeah, it can feel a bit devastating, and then things can move on and progress, and then go ahead 18 months or whatever your time is before you go to sales, and you forget all the pain. I think I've mentioned it before. It's like childbirth. You just forget about that. No.
I've been from the sidelines, I've seen childbirth.
Oh, me too. I've actually done that as well.
All right.
It's not pleasant. Let's move on.
Let's move on.
Okay.
Who have you chosen to speak about today?
Well, let's talk about Pete and Elaine.
Oh, yeah. Power couple?
A power couple.
I was going to say in the making, but no, they're well and truly off the ground now.
So they've finally, they've got a site.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It's very exciting.
We've been, we've had some close calls, haven't we?
I think out of all of the mentoring students, Bob, sorry to cut you off there, they've had so many close calls. They've had a lot of them.
Yeah, almost there, and something happens, they pull it off the market or
lawyers get involved.
Lawyers get involved and muddy the water. Yeah, all sorts of things. And I tell you what, that really tests a person.
Oh, doesn't it? It really does.
Lesser people would have spat the dummy or given up or whatever, but no, not this couple.
No, they've done amazingly. And they originally came to us, they'd signed up to somebody else's mentoring program and weren't really receiving any results or attention or even conversations.
Another one.
Yeah, another. But anyway, they came to us and couldn't believe
They
it.
got comfortable very quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they knew they were in the right place, and like everybody in a mentoring program, we talked about them where they want to be in certain time frames, and there's, the method that we're going to use.
Because that's a good point. Every single person comes to us requiring a different method.
Yeah,
it's not just how do I do property development. It's how do I do property development with this is what I've got to get started with. Yeah. As in what I've got financially. This is what I've got for serviceability. This is what I'd like to do.
This is where I want to be in 2 years and 5 years.
Yeah.
Have all those conversations.
And that whole picture there, that whole where I want to be, what I want to have done, what I've got and what I've got backing me, that creates the model that we end up working with.
And so we customise it to suit the individuals.
Yeah, so we know
it's not a cookie cutter thing.
No, well, yeah.
And it can't be because so many different people, different goals, different time frames, different amounts of money, different personality types. I mean, how far do you go? So we work within all of that and customise a plan, as we did here with these two guys. And so
they had a lot of disappointments.
Yeah.
And I think one particular one, because there are a few of them with joint venture with landowners, and that's when the lawyers get involved and stop stuff, which was really disappointing. Not just for them, it breaks our heart as well. It's like, oh no.
Yeah, and it's the landowner that in the end that misses out. You got lawyers just killing deals. And that's nothing new.
Muddying the waters, I like the way you said that at the beginning.
Yeah, but I mean, you can deal with disappointment if it comes fast. Let's say you see a site and you think, oh, this is a great site. Oh, it's going to be great. And you end up doing a bit more due diligence and you find that it's got a sewer going through it and this council won't let you build over a sewer and it's dead. Or for whatever reason, the numbers don't stack up. You know that early and there's a little bit of disappointment. But then, like, when you go down the track with somebody and you have, say the purchaser or even through agents and you're advancing things, and if you've had a number of meetings and you've in some cases you've spent money. Yeah. You've
and you've built a relationship. There's a relationship forming with that person.
Yeah, well, you're hoping that there is, and you've spent some money yourself on a lawyer, perhaps a civil engineer to get certain advice or a town planner, and then it all sort of falls apart for whatever reason. Somebody whispers something stupid in their ear, or a lawyer gets involved, and that is the heartbreaking stuff, because you've put a lot of time and effort and even like dream. Yes. Visualisation into it, and then it collapses. It's a lot harder to take than if
putting an offer in and it just doesn't get accepted.
Yeah, it doesn't get accepted, or the numbers didn't work, or whatever. Yeah. You can deal with that disappointment. That's part of the course.
It's not like a sort of a 2-day due diligence thing when there's been a period of work done.
Yeah. And in this case, this particular power couple, as I love to call them, had a couple of those.
Yeah.
There was a potential subdivision with a guy and making all the right noises, advance, money was spent, everything, and then all of a sudden, does a backflip.
So frustrating.
Yeah. And you can do all the right things along the way to try and, work out how genuine they are, and it can happen. And, very frustrating. So it makes it all the sweeter having gone through that when you get a deal, as they found out, and for us too, because we're in there, punching away.
And they're smart people. They've run some pretty amazing businesses. They're very smart people, and it's that luck, and probably looking back in 3 or 5 years' time, or whatever it is for them, maybe even a year and a half, whatever the project distance and timing is. Well, they'll look back and they'll probably forget the pain. They'll forget the pain of the ones that they missed.
And you're right. And that's what I tell people when they're going through it. It will fade into the background when you get a deal going. And another thing I often say to people, and it happens, is don't be surprised if you quickly get a second or even a third opportunity. Because what happened, a lot of the time, you're out there, you're doing all the right things, you're sharpening your skills, you're honing your skills, you're sowing seeds, you're making contacts with various people, and you know, and it can be frustrating, and then you get there. And then the reason another one might pop up soon after that, it's just the results of
those previous seeds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's all just, you know, all those sayings, coming home to roost, whatever you want to say. And that's why it often happens. I tell people that, and until it happens, they sort of, oh, yeah, okay, you know. But that's why.
Okay, Bob. Sure thing, Bob.
I wouldn't be surprised if these guys come up with
I
another one.
very much hope they do. I do hope they do. And they'll be a great couple to work with for the rest of the process. So that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So what are they building, Bob? Tell us about their plan.
Oh, well, townhouses in a good area.
Great area.
Yeah, a very popular area. Not a lot of supply. And good prices, good sale prices. Right up there. Yeah.
So that's great news.
That is great news. Yep.
So we will update you with how they go, because that's going to be a very exciting journey, and it's another power couple we'll be following.
Yep.
Inspiring people, and hopefully you found some inspiration from them, and knowing that there will be some heartbreak on the way.
Yep.
That leads us
It's
to...
how you deal with it.
Yeah, that's terrible. Yes. The word has an S on the end, Hilary. Okay, what about we've got the accidental developer
Himself.
I saw him post. He was pretty excited. Finally, that's been a very long journey. We call him the accidental developer. His name's Kyle, and we know listens. So hey, Kyle, and almost Happy New Year. A couple of days to go. Kyle came to us because he accidentally fell into property development, and now he just loves the idea of it. And it's been a journey for Kyle.
It's overpowered him.
It's been a journey.
Yeah, it has. And he bought a property, a house
to live on,
to live in, if you like,
on land in the house.
Yep, yeah. on a larger parcel of land, an acreage, and his intention at the time was simply to cut another lot off it. In other words, turn it into a 2-lot subdivision, one more lot of land, and that's all he wanted to do. But when he had discussions with council, they had other ideas.
They said no.
They said, no, we want you to cut it into more lots, because they probably saw that as an underutilisation. And some councils will do that. If they think you're underutilising land, they'll say, no, we want to...
They're hard to please, aren't they, councils?
No.
There's too much going on, there's not enough going on.
Don't start me on councils.
Gosh. No, not the council conversation.
No. And so that got him thinking, oh, okay, what about that? But then it was too big a thing for him to think about. Like, you know, we're talking like a 12 or a 13-lot subdivision. And so he started looking around. Oh, God, how do I do this? Who can I talk to? And he came across us. I think he had the initial conversation with you when he contacted us. Then we had a deeper conversation and said, yeah, look, we can help you with all that, Kyle. And
so he signed up to the mentoring program.
He did, but he was... I don't think he'd mind me saying this. He's quite terrified of the whole thought of doing a 12-lot subdivision.
Not now. Do you know that he listens to the online course constantly. I think he told me he's done it 13 times. That was recently.
That could be a record.
Tom's attended 9 workshops, and then we've got Kyle. I'm pretty sure
big record holders out there.
Yeah, that he would probably know it off by heart. He's on every live Q&A we have. He asks the most questions.
He does,
even at the workshop. We're at the point where just with any questions, anyone, then I go, Kyle, any questions, because he asks great questions as well.
He does.
The only way you're ever going to learn if you're unsure about something is by asking questions. He asks so many questions.
Yeah. What's amazed me about... probably two things about Kyle. One is the confidence that he's built. Which is through the roof.
Yeah.
But not false confidence.
No.
The other thing is just the knowledge he's got now. Like, he literally knew zero about property development. And he was scared. He admitted it, and he tells people. And now
he talks about his next project. I can't wait to do my next one.
Yeah.
But so what's happened for Kyle this week? He's had, what was the post that?
Well, it was a long drawn out.
Oh, that's right.
The development permit. Coming off the back of COVID, civil engineers really busy, and because subdivisions are mostly about civil engineers, surveyors and civil engineers, pretty well, and. He just got in unfortunately, with somebody who was really slow. Very busy, I'd say. Took on too much work. Very slow to respond. And Kyle had to, do his best to keep on top of them, keep on top of them. You're drawing a fine line between, pushing them to do your work and just abusing them.
And you've got to be careful there. It's like a tiptoe, because if you say anything wrong, you just go back to the bottom of the pole. But I think also he's such a nice guy. They probably dined out on that a little bit.
Yeah, he's a lovely guy.
Sometimes the nice people...
He's learned to be more pushy.
Yeah.
But it went very slowly. And some issues came up that had to be dealt with along the way. Being a subdivision, with storm water and road works and different things.
Council demands around roading for him. He was a bit there.
Yeah. So it was a bit more of a complex development permit than originally thought because of some of these other issues, but really did go too slowly because of the consultants. But anyway.
In the long run...
The good thing, though, hey.
What?
Well, prices went up.
That's what I was going to say. In the long run, I think it's one of those stories where what sounds frustrating and annoying, we talked about this a couple of podcasts ago, can actually turn out to be a really good result because prices have gone up. And I haven't seen... Have you done a FISO on the new prices on that? What will happen? Does it look a heap better?
Yeah, I mean, the civil costs have gone up a bit as well. But yeah, it's very solid, the pricing. So he's in that sort of bottom third of the market where, in terms of pricing, where there's fairly strong demand. I mean, there's strong demand. There's not as big a demand with first home buyers these days because the interest rate's going up, but there still are because they get a lot of help. But even young families, that's an area where a lot of young families will buy a block of land and build a home, raise their kids. So it's a solid market where he is, and prices have gone up. So yeah, his margins are probably a little bit actually better than they started out at.
Yeah, so that's great. So that's why we call Kyle the accidental developer, because he accidentally became a property developer. Yeah. He needs to write that book.
So almost you could say forced by council to become a property developer. Isn't that weird?
Oh, I think it's fantastic.
It is for him. And
so where's his process now, Bob, moving forward? Like what's how long until
for him? Well, a lot quicker now because it comes out of being stuck in council and I think he's appointed a new consultant now in terms of the civil engineering. But so, detailed design now and getting tenders and getting it built. That's the next thing. So that'll be the first half of next year. He'll do that.
So we can see those for sale signs going up by him.
Well,
by
there won't be a lot of for sale signs up because he's also. I've been told by Kyle himself that he's formed a bit of a relationship over a period of time with a builder, and so that builder will be putting house and land packages together on Kyle's land. In fact, while it's being built, he'll start to get house and land packages sorted out. So selling it won't be an issue, and doing it that way, he won't be paying commission to agents either, because he's basically skipped the middleman in this case and going direct to the builder that will be building on the land for the builder will be building for himself. Kyle might do a couple of speckies himself. The jury's out on that.
Very smart person. I think he's one of those people. He's an accidental developer, and he's the sort of person that you underestimate. I think he's just a silent assassin. I think we could call Kyle.
Yeah, he's a deep thinker.
Yes,
and that's why he comes up with so many good questions all the time because he sort of thinks, and then he thinks ahead. What's next, and what if that? Well, I need to know that. That's which is good.
So another young guy, young family. Which is really exciting. It's that anyone can do it story.
Yeah, and he's got so many years in front of him to, to be a developer, and being a young couple.
That's fantastic. Well, I think we've got time for one more in this podcast, Bob.
Oh, you can squeeze another one in. What do you got?
Let's talk about Julie.
Julie P.
Julie. Yeah. We met Julie a long time ago, prior to COVID.
Yeah, it was.
And then she just listened to what was going on and followed a few people and heard us talk about... She actually Julie put in a lot of sites for you to check, didn't she? She found a lot, and she couldn't get... How many would she have put in that they didn't stack up? That would be well over 20, wouldn't it?
Something like that. It was at a hard time too.
Yeah.
It was a really tough time trying to get deals to stack. at that time.
But she didn't give up.
No,
looking.
she didn't give up.
I'll give massive kudos. No, Julie's an interesting story. Doesn't look like a property developer.
No.
She's
Not many people do.
No.
In our community.
She's just a single woman, a little bit older than myself. You just wouldn't think
got a good steady job, but wants to do more.
Wants to do more.
And is doing more.
And didn't give up.
Didn't give up.
Didn't give up.
No.
And listens as well, I think, just quietly. Another bit of a silent assassin, maybe.
Mm.
So her journey, she heard us talking about somebody else who got a deal, and she went and just changed patch.
Yep.
And she found one.
Yeah. You know, take luck when you can get it.
It is that.
It came quickly.
It did.
Found a cracker good site almost immediately.
And we were on holiday, weren't we?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no, we were down in Orange.
Oh, it's that we were.
We were down in Orange. Yes, we were down there as a businessy type trip.
Mm.
And she rang, which is always, then we have to start doing stuff quickly now, because she needed to get an IM together. Because
information memorandum.
Information memorandum, because she needed to find investors.
Mm.
And as luck would have it, it was another one of those stories where I actually had an investor up my sleeve who was looking to. I know. Where are my sleeves?
If you run out of investors?
I know, she was like, I could have done I should have done one myself, really, but he had been talking to me.
You kindly gave the investor away.
Oh, I did. Again, it was a good mix, because it's somebody else from our community who's a good guy, and then Julie doing her first project, and it was very exciting for me to be able to say, when she said, "Are we looking for an investor?" She got the IM ready, and I said to her, "I think I might know somebody, actually." So I was able to give him a call and see if he was interested, and then put them together, and it's a done thing. So that's a very exciting development underway as well.
Yeah, so that site's been settled, development permit out, and a lot of the building permit done. In fact, she's talking to builders at the moment and getting quotes.
So how exciting is that to hear? We've just talked about 3 people. We've talked about a couple, Pete and Elaine, having tried other programs and gotten nowhere, and then come to us, and we really did a lot of work with them.
Went through a lot of frustration.
Yeah, you did. Just like,
but got there, hung in and got a deal.
That's right. And then the Kyle, the accidental developer, same thing. Terrified. Young guy, young family, just on an amazing journey, just like Pete and Elaine. And then Julie, an older woman on her own, same thing. None of those people look like anybody else. None of them. Yeah. I think the only thing that they all have in common is they're all humans. They're humans. That's it.
Yeah, they're all humans.
But they all had different jobs. But
that's the way it is. That's the way it is with property development these days. You know,
anybody
from all sorts of backgrounds, from different levels of education, different countries. And we've been a big part of that.
We have, but
changing the landscape of property developers.
Yeah, exactly. I think what we want you to know is we find some inspiration in that. If you've been thinking that we've just spoken about 4 people that are just such a mix.
Yeah.
And if they can, you can. If you're thinking about it, get off the fence.
Yeah.
It's the end of 2022.
No excuses.
If you're listening to this one live, it'll be 2 days before the end of the year, I think. So happy New Year.
Make it your New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
Now that you're listening to the end of this podcast, you are going to take your first steps towards property development.
Yes, and if you don't know what that is, give me a call or send me an email, and maybe we could help you on your journey. Who knows? We are
more than a maybe.
Well, we could, but we are helping plenty of other people, so why not you?
Don't watch from the sidelines. Get into the game.
On that note, Bob, I think we could wind this one up.
Okay.
I'm going to go to the gym now.
All right. And we'll
what are you going
we'll
to
see
do?
you again in the new year.
No, you'll see me in about an hour or so.
Oh, okay.
What are you going to do?
I got some emails to sort out because I was away a lot yesterday. I'll do that. Got to talk to some. Yeah, I got my first mentoring person to talk to.
9 o'clock. I saw you had somebody
very
in
soon.
your diary.
Yeah, get organised.
All right, everybody, we hope you had a fantastic 2022. We really hope that you are enjoying this podcast. Remember to like and share it. To subscribe to us on YouTube would be a great way. We've got a lot more coming up on YouTube this year as well that you'll find exciting, and we'll look forward to seeing you out there in property development. See you next year.
See you then.
Bye.